Welcome to the HMO Property Show. By investors, for investors. Catch us weekly as we discuss all things cash flow positive property investing. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a new landlord, or just curious about property investing, this is the podcast for you. Sponsored by the Co-Living Collective, your trusted partner in creating vibrant and sustainable shared living experiences. Visit us at colivingcollective.com.au to learn more.
Welcome back to the HMO Property Show. I'm your host, Neil Gibb, and today I want to talk to you about a tool. A tool that no matter where you are in your property investing journey, whether you do buy and hold, buy and flip, small to medium developments, HMO, NDIS, Airbnb, this tool works and it works well. It helps you do more with less. It helps you go faster. And that tool is joint ventures. And joint ventures come in all different shapes and sizes and forms. People do them in business, people do them in real estate. If I can give you a very simple joint venture, my business partner and I, Troy, we partnered together because we have two different skill sets and bring something totally different to the table. And that joint venture is working incredibly well. And I've done joint ventures with other people and vice versa. They've done them with me. Troy has done many joint ventures in the past. I know many people that are doing joint ventures right now. And even when you think of some of the biggest brands on the planet, like McDonald's, they do joint ventures with the likes of Disney and Pixar, because when you get a Happy Meal, that is a joint venture between McDonald's and the other company, whether that's Disney, whether that's Pixar, whoever it is. But they partner up together to give both brands more visibility so that you become and stay front of mind across two very prominent brands on the planet. But if we think about joint ventures in real estate, there's typically three parties to a joint venture, or three different parts to a joint venture. Sometimes only two. Sometimes there could be more, but they would generally fit into the three different segments which I'll talk about. But the reason that people do joint ventures to start with is because real estate can be capital intensive. Unless you're being creative and using call options, unless you're doing owner joint ventures, which I've also done too. They can require less capital because you don't need to pay stamp duty, you don't need to put a deposit down, you don't need to pay holding costs. You can also do joint ventures with people that want to invest money into projects. You can do joint ventures with people if you've got money to invest in a project but you don't have the time and the experience. You can, if you're the working party and you've got the time and the experience but no cash and potentially sometimes no serviceability, depending on the size of the deal, you can partner with someone that might have cash available and want a better return on it than they would get in the bank. And we'll get on to returns and how long, what people should expect, etc. in a second. But people may also have enough money to do a deal and still might prefer to do a joint venture with somebody else. You can do it with the family members, you can do them with friends, you can do it with people that you might meet at the pub. I've done with people that I've done on social media. We in a very good position because over the years we've built a brand which people trust and people know and understand. And that's made it a lot easier to raise capital for projects in the future. But then I've also know a really good friend of mine who I've had on the podcast, very successful property investor, and he's built his property portfolio off his own back without doing any joint venture deals. And I think that the reason for that is because he's scared to ask people for money. And we're going to debunk that in this podcast episode today. I think he's got a problem with asking people to invest in projects because it feels like he's physically asking them for money. But if you approach it in a way where it's like, hey, I've got this deal I can do all the work. If you want to put the money in, you'll get a much better return on your money than it is sat in the bank. And we can both win, which is what real estate's all about, creating win-win-win situations, right? So the three typical parties are normally your working partner. This is a partner that's got the time and the experience. The money partner, obviously the person that's got the cash. And sometimes, depending on the size of the deal, you might need a serviceability partner, somebody that can obtain finance from a bank, because maybe your working partner and your money partner are both tapped out serviceability-wise. A lot of people are right now in this market. So you might need the combination of all three. If you're doing a large commercial project, then you might only need the working partner and the money partner. And the working partner or the money partner would potentially be looked at from servicing the deal as well. So the things that kind of need to be understood in a joint venture, first and foremost, are roles and responsibilities. Once you've got your working parties together, everybody needs to know who does what and when and why. Now, if you get a good solicitor, they can help you put this together, and the solicitor that you help, or the solicitor that you find to help put this together, ask them if they've done this previously before. How many joint venture agreements have you put together in the real estate space, and how have they gone? Because they should be able to craft the agreement between you both. But first, you need to know roles and responsibilities, who's doing what and when. The working partner would typically handle the day-to-day running of the project, town planning, councils, architects, designers, feasibilities, builders, councils. All that stuff is the working party. And the money partner would typically invest the money into the project as and when required. It could be all up front, it could be in stages. Again, this can all be worked out. There's no hard and fast rule on how to do these, right? Because every deal is different. Every deal needs different levels of capital. Every deal needs different levels of experience. And every deal brings different levels of risk. So there's no hard and fast rule. I can't say this is exactly how you do it, but the intention behind this episode today is to get you thinking and to start asking these questions. Next thing you need in that agreement is, we know what the working partner is doing on the day-to-day, how much money is required, when is it being invested, what does the return look like, is it fixed, is it monthly, is it variable, is it a profit split, is it fixed return on investment, is it 50-50, is the money partner taking more because they've put the capital in, is the working partner taking more because they've done all the work, found the deal, structured it, put it together, and the capital is the last piece of the deal. Now, people always say to me, which one do you do first? Do you find the deal, or do you find the investors? It's a bit of both. In the early days when we first started doing this, we found the deal. But as we built our brand and people now respect us and understand us and have seen us do deal after deal after deal after deal after deal on social media, then we now have a list of people that have expressed an interest to work with us at some point. Now, just because they've also expressed an interest doesn't mean that they're always going to have the cash available to invest. Things change. They may find other things to invest in, and that's fine. Always keep them relationships open. You never know what happens in the future. And then last but not least, once you work out who's doing what and when, what cash is required and how the profit's going to be split, what's the exit strategy? Is it sell the property? Are we going to refinance it or hold? Is the investor happy to be in that deal for 12 months, 24 months, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, depending on what the deal is? Everybody needs to agree on when they're getting the money back, when they're getting the time back, etc. So if you are the money partner, I've got a couple of little tips for you on what you can do before you put your hard-earned money into somebody else's project. So obviously, due diligence is first and foremost on everything that you do, right? Before you jump into anything, you want to do your research and find out that who you are working with can do what they say they're going to do. Now, if you're a new investor or a new working party, don't stress. I've got some tips for you on how you can get around this, because the first joint venture that I did, I had no experience in doing renovations commercially. And when I say commercially, what I mean is, as an electrician, I always had the experience and the knowledge on how to do certain things within houses, because I was rewiring houses, fitting kitchens, bathrooms, etc. back in the UK when I was still in the tools there. And I brought that experience to the table, along with everything that I'd learned in the courses that I'd done, and I presented the information to the investor in a way that made it easy for them to understand and easy for them to make a decision, but also easy for them to do their due diligence as well and do their research. And I'm going to jump into that for you as well. As always, I love giving you guys value, so I hope you get some little tips from this. Just because if you're the working partner and someone puts a deal in front of you as well, you want as much information as you can possibly get. You want the more information that the working party can give you, the more it will give you the confidence that they've done the DD required to get the outcome that they're saying that they can get. And also, if you're a nervous investor, let's say you got $500,000 cash sitting there doing nothing, you don't have to invest all of that. You can invest a portion of it. In fact, I'd probably highly recommend doing that rather than putting everything into a deal. Start small. You don't have to go all in your first joint venture. Do a few smaller deals first. Maybe put 50% of the cash in with somebody else. Reduce your risk, reduce their risk, and get comfortable with the process as well. I've worked with very experienced money partners. I've worked with money partners that it was the first time they've ever put money into a deal previously as well. And if you're a money partner, do not be afraid to get professional advice. It's worth spending money on a lawyer to get independent advice separate from the parties around the project, just to make sure that the deal stacks up, the agreement that you're signing is legit and not just heavily weighted in the form of the money partner. You need to be fair. Okay, so that's the money partner sorted. If you are the working party, now the working parties are always looking for people with money, because the working partners are generally the hungry ones. They're generally the ones that see the deals. They're generally the ones that find the deals but have either got the cash tied up in something else, or they don't have all the cash available, or like I was when I first started out, I had the experience and the skill set to deliver the project, but I didn't have the capital base behind me to do it as well. So if you are a working party, there's a couple of tips that I can give you here as well. Now, if you are fresh, absolutely fresh, and you want to do joint ventures and you don't have a track record, I'm going to help you guys first, and then I'm going to come into the more experienced people as well. So first and foremost, please tidy up your social media. I had somebody reach out to me a couple of weeks ago asking me if I could find him some work. Just moved over from the UK. I clicked on his social media. Well, I could see it in the corner of the Facebook message that he sent me. Clicked on his social media, and his social media picture was him sat on a sofa flicking the bird, like 2 middle fingers up. And I just thought, there's absolutely zero chance that I'm going to go out my way to help you when that's the first impression that you're going to give the people that I'm going to connect you with. So I shut it down first and foremost. Your social media is the window into who you are as a person. So if you are a bit of a wild party animal, that's fine. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But just tidy it up, guys. Like, you want that first you don't want that first picture to be you sticking your fingers up at somebody when they come on your social media channel, right? We have got an incredible opportunity right now to build your own personal brand, to build credibility and trust and rapport with people before they even know who you are. Now, if you're on social media as well, I would be going through and I'd be trying to comment on at least 5 or 10 people's social media profiles every night, random people, just getting visibility out there, because people will see your name popping up constantly all over. So if there's certain people in real estate that you follow, someone like myself, someone like any of the people that we've had on, the podcast. Maybe follow all of them guys. There's a quick tip straight away. I've had probably 70, 80 guests on the podcast so far, maybe more. Even the old podcast that I did, the Perth Entrepreneurs podcast, did a lot of business owners on there as well. Business owners generally have cash. They're generally doing all right for themselves, and they're always looking for opportunities, right? So you could go through just them two lists alone and start following them on LinkedIn, start following them on Facebook and Instagram, and start commenting on the posts. Start just being a nice person around them, right? Just say, oh, this is cool, thanks for sharing, stuff like that. Might seem a bit cheesy, right? But all you want to do is get your name seen out there. Secondly, network like crazy. Get yourself to property networking events and get yourself some little business cards made up with your name on there, and write down on the back of it what you do. Like I had one say, Neil Gibb, property investor, specialising in renovations, subdivisions and joint ventures. And I handed them all out at a real estate conference that I went to. Sat on a table, 15, 20 people on that table, give every one of them a business cards, and one of them like turned it over and looked at the back and they laughed. And they said, oh, I like your cards. But when they laughed, I didn't know how to take it. That person I went into a joint venture with, because when I put my first deal into the social media channel that I put it into, they reached out to me because I give them a business card and because I was front of mind, right? So it made an impression. Some people might laugh at you. Who cares? They're not the people that you're going to work with either way, right? And there's no way that you're going to be able to please everybody that you come across. So don't worry too much about that. Worry about the people that are generally interested and generally want to work with you as well. Or just know that are active. So network like crazy. Take business cards, hand business cards out to everybody that you meet. For the people that you get business cards back from, what you do, the next morning when you wake up, you email every single one of them just saying, hey, it's Neil from the event we went to last night. Really nice to meet you. Just want to share my contact details with you. If there's anything I can help you with, please let me know. I'd love to catch up with a coffee with you one day. Maybe even take them for some lunch if you know that they are in high regard in what you want to do. So if you know they're an active property investor, if you know they're active in subdivisions, if they've left the day job and they've gone into property full time, then they're definitely worth taking for lunch. Even if you don't get anything out of it, spending time with somebody that's already been through the process and got to where you want to get to, i.e. left their job and gone full time to real estate, there will be nuggets of gold that you will get from that conversation, and it might cost you $50, $60 in lunch, but that $50 or $60 could give you some tips and tricks that you can take somewhere else and use to put joint ventures together, raise money, make money. Who knows? They might give you some little tips in real estate that you didn't even know about as well. So follow up with everyone. Your network really is your net worth. I know it's cliche but you want to build up a good black book of people that you can lean on in the future, because as you become more experienced and you start to see more deals, you're not going to be able to do them all with the capital base that you've got now. It's as simple as that. Now, when you get into the position very similar to like we are now, we put deal after deal after deal, and we show people the projects that we're doing online. We've been active on social media since 2014, 2015, detailing the journey that we've been on. And because of that, we get deals. I particularly get deals come across my desk. Probably get 2 or 3 a week, which for the last 18 months, my business partner and I really turned the tap off in the development space because feasibilities just weren't looking strong enough. And for a lot of developers now, they're still not looking strong enough. If you go back to the podcast I did with Angad and Adam, the 2 guys from Perth Property Developers, they're being super creative, like buying a church on a subdividable block and renovating the church, etc., to make a project stack up. But typical, like your typical developments, your standard triplexes and quads and stuff like that, still aren't looking that attractive on a feasibility. Now, the way the market's going, there's a good chance that your project's going to be profitable, but you are using hopium in your feasibility there, and hopium sometimes doesn't end well, right? So you can only put the figures into the feasibility that you can put in now. With the HMO stuff that we do, we've started doing commercial to residential conversions now, which is an interesting space. We're going to share more with that you guys in a couple of weeks or a couple of months' time. But deals come across our desk all the time, right? And when deals are starting to look attractive like they are again now, that's when you need to start leaning on your property investor base or your your capital partner base. God, get your words out, Gibby. That's when you can start to lean on and start asking more questions about and to your investor base. Now, if you are approaching investors as a working partner, God, I'm struggling with my words. I've just got this Invisalign thing fitted, right? And I feel like I can hardly talk with it in. My teeth are getting stretched all over the place. So apologies if I'm not my normal self on this one, guys. I am struggling a little bit. But if you are an investor, if you're the working party, how do you approach investors? First and foremost, when you're taking these people out for a coffee, if you're the new people, you won't have a deal available, right? But you can ask them about other deals that they've invested in. So ask them, have you ever invested in like a renovation deal before, a development deal before, a subdivision deal before? When you invest, what do you actually look for? Do you look for a return investment? Are you looking to stay in deals long term? What sort of return on investment do you look for? Is it 10, 15, 20, 25%? Like, at the end of the day, it's their money, so they can ask for whatever they want to be in your deal, right? But if it's your deal and it's a good deal, then you can also ask them for whatever you want as well. So it's a negotiation that works best for both parties. How long are you comfortable being in deals? Like, these are just standard questions that you can ask people, but then you can start to build up a list or a database of potential investors and know exactly what deals to put in front of which ones. You can ask them about some of the other successful deals they've been in. Who did you do them with? How long did they take? What was it? How much cash did you put in? What was your return on investment? Like, if these are people that physically want to invest in projects, they will be more than happy to tell you this type of stuff, because everyone likes to talk about themselves, right? What's a typical size or amount of investments that you make? This will also help you gauge their risk appetite. And what about friends? Have you ever invested with your friends and gone like 50-50 in deals, stuff like that? That will also let you know if they've got friends that they invest with. And then what I also like to do, and I used to do this quite a lot, I don't do it as much now, but if it's new people that we're looking to invest with and you know their experience, you could say, look, if I had a deal, I would really appreciate you just casting your eye over 5 minutes just to provide me some feedback on, like, if it's any good before I go out to my network of investors. That does two things. You're asking them to invest in your deal indirectly. You're not asking them directly. You're asking them to review the deal for you before you give it to your other investors. You're also saying you've got a list of other investors for them as well, which kind of creates scarcity. So if I had a deal, would you spend 5 minutes looking over it and just provide me some feedback? I'd really appreciate somebody with your skill set and knowledge and experience just to let me know if I'm on the right tracks or not. Now, once you have a deal, because what you've done just now is built a list of investors, and you kind of know how much cash they've got, what they're looking to invest, what they're comfortable to invest in, etc., etc., etc. Now you can go out and you can start looking for deals, right? What we do when we find deals, we always get a DD period in there as well. We get them under option, or we get a DD phase in there as well. Either or. Option allows you to cancel whenever you want, and DD, if it's worded correctly, also allows you to cancel a contract under your due diligence clause because it's unsuitable or unsatisfactory to your discretion. Once you found your deal, put your foot on it. Cover it with an option, cover it with an offer, make sure you got DD in there. Then go away and you build a pitch deck. And that pitch deck can be anything from a 3 to 10 page, The pitch deck can be anything from a 3 to 10 pager with absolutely everything about that project. Now, I normally do it I used to do these in, what's it called, a Mac Keynote or PowerPoint, something like that. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. The team in the office use Canva now. I really can't stand it. It's too picky. Much prefer PowerPoint. It's easier. I just take a picture of the house, front page, address, and then say what the project is. 10 Smith Street, 102 subdivision, build on the back. Job done. Second page, I talk about the actual property itself. Take some overhead pictures of the deal. I put the information about the actual property itself, like the information that's on the title. I actually put a copy of the title in there as well. Everything that you have done to do your DD, put it into this document, because that then also helps them make a decision faster, because they can see that you've done some very thorough DD. And that's exactly what it is. They can see exactly the DD that you've done, and it will help them make a decision faster, right? Time kills deals. You don't want to be trying to look for investors for like 2 or 3 months and then trying to seal a deal on a death knock, because that's when you feel or sound desperate. So put everything in there, the daily info, the numbers, your feasibility numbers, absolutely everything. End sale prices, examples of why you get them end sale prices if you are looking to sell. If you're looking to do a long-term hold, and you're going to refinance and you're going to get that investor out, then put the valuation report in there that you've got to say, I'm going to build it for this and it's going to reval at this and I'm going to refinance it at this, and then you get your cash back that way. So put everything into a 3 to 10 page document, whatever it is, then create a 1-page document with some very high level numbers. 1 to 2 subdivision, 150k required, 15% return on investment, 18 to 24 month deal. Just put 24 month deal in there. Just make it pretty, 1-pager, and then start contacting your clients and just say, look, I'm just put this information pack together for a joint venture that I'm doing. Would you mind running your eye over it and just give me some feedback? Again, you're not asking them directly, and this is what I've said to my friend who's incredibly successful. He's got the problem with saying, do you want to invest in my project? Well, don't ask them to invest in your project. Ask them to have a look at the document that you've created, and then they might just say, I'd be interested in investing in that. Simple. It removes that sort of glass ceiling that's there that might be stopping people from asking the actual question. So send them the 1-pager. If they want more information, you can send them out the 3 to 10 pager, however many pages are in there. And also have a bit of a process in there documented, settlement date this, development approval this, subdivision's going to take this, construction's going to take this. If you're smart enough to do one, you can create a Gantt chart, so it's got like a bit of a staggered sort of stages in there as well. And let them know why it's a good opportunity. Don't just talk about the numbers, talk about the people that you're going to house, talk about the impact it's going to have on the community, talk about the people that are going to live in there as well, because people don't only invest for the return, and sometimes people don't only invest because of the project. They might be investing because of you personally. They might be investing because of the people that are going to get access to the housing in the back end. If you're specifically trying to target downsizers or over 55-year-old females or something like that, it could be a double whammy for them. It could be something that they want to invest from the heart, but also from the bank as well. And just be transparent. Send them the information and then book some time in to get some feedback on it to see if they want to invest in it. So there you go, guys. Hope that helps. Joint ventures, they're always a good thing. If you're doing joint ventures, let me know. I love talking to people. I really do. So if you're doing joint ventures now, let me know. If you are considering doing joint ventures, again, let me know. Happy to have a chat with people to guide them on the right track. If you're looking at investing in someone's project now and you're in two minds about whether it's a good one to invest in, I'm more than happy to spend 5 or 10 minutes having a look at it for you. There you go, guys. So working partners, money partners, sometimes servicing partners, depending on the size of the deal. Agree on the agreement, what's going to be in that joint venture agreement. If you're the money partner, work out what you need to do. If you are the working partner, work out what you need to do. If you're just getting started out, follow the tips there, guys. I guarantee they will work because I've done them myself, and I am the outcome of the information that I've just shared with you today. We still do joint ventures today, like I said. Doesn't matter where you are in your journey. I think people will always do them, because the more experience you get, the more deals you can do, the more money that requires, and you can bring people along on that journey with you as a girl. We always say that when people invest in our deals, they can learn while they earn, because we give them full exposure to the deal, and we show them all the things that go right and also all the things that go wrong. And the majority of the times there's more things that go wrong than right, because development and construction is a very complex game, and you will always learn from your mistakes. If you've done enough good DD up front, then the mistakes shouldn't be too big, or the lessons shouldn't be too expensive. So there you go, guys. Hope that helped. Get out there. For all the newbies, get yourself your business cards made up. Get to the networking event. And remember, every master was once a disaster, and every winner was once a beginner.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in the same time next week so you can stay up to date with all cash flow positive property updates.